Hi everyone, my name is Courtney, and today I'm going to be telling you my story, or my experience I should say, with uterine fibroids, excuse me, and the procedure, the abdominal myomectomy that I had, as well as the recovery time for it. And I'm assuming if you found this video, then you want more information or something that has to do with uterine fibroids, and I apologize that you're going through it or that you had to go through it as well, because it is not pleasant. Okay, so I'm just going to dive right on into it. Okay, so back around the end of August, beginning of September of 2012, last year, I found that, like, I woke up one day and I was just kind of having on and off pain on the lower left side of my body. It was coming and going. Nothing too bad. Took a couple of Advil, it would go away, but it always came back. And then as the days went on, like I'm talking like the next 2 days or so after that, the pain worsened. It became more constant, and it was horrible, to the point when I ended up going to the hospital. Like, I was out at my friend's house, and the pain was just the point when I was like, I can't take it anymore. And so I went to the hospital out of town, like not where I live now, and saw a doctor, and he did a few things, like doctors do, and he came to the conclusion that either I had an infection in, and I quote, this part of my body, this part of my body, or I had like colon problems. And I went along with it, okay. But just to be on the safe side, he had ordered an ultrasound, like an abdominal ultrasound, for the following morning. Fine and dandy. So I wake up the following morning, I go to this ultrasound, and by this point, the pain is still not gone away. I'm still in excruciating pain. It got to the point, like, it was getting worse still. And so I decided that I wanted to go to the hospital again. I wanted to get a second opinion on what was going on. So I went to the hospital in my town, and I talked to the doctor, and I told him that I had fibroid, or sorry, that's a lie, because I didn't know at this point. But he came in and told me that I had a fibroid, and he was like, that's what we believe is causing the pain. And I was like, all right, waiting to hear more. And he's prescribed me, well, he never did tell me more about it, sorry. And so that's all I knew. I had this fibroid. What is a fibroid? I couldn't tell you. I did not know. That's all that I knew. It could have been cancer. But I'm assuming that if he was just not going to do anything about it, that really wasn't a big deal. So that was it. That was the end of that. He did prescribe me Oxycontin, which is a narcotic drug. And the pain I had, the Oxycontin would only take away enough of it so that I could, like, it would make the pain bearable enough that I could sleep in about, I don't know, an hour interval. And I had went through about 13 pills in 2 days, a day and a half to 2 days. Before, and like I said, the pain was still really bad. I wasn't eating. I was crying all day, all night. The pills made me feel like I wanted to throw up, and they were just bad. They made me feel loopy. It was a horrible, and I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. And so I decided I need to get another opinion. There had to be something else going on, because, like I said, I didn't know what a fibroid was or anything. So I go see another doctor, and they tell me that they think it's colon problems again. That now that I look back on it, I think that this doctor really needs to get, like, rid of his. He should not be practicing medicine in any way, shape, or form, because he told me in his office that fibroids do in fact not cause any pain, and that the doctor at the hospital that gave me the Oxycontin was a moron, and doctors in this town were stupid. Now that I look back on it, I was like, he's a stupid one. Fibroids are extremely painful. Uh, they grow their masses in your uterus. Like, it's not pleasant. So I had went to him, and he thought that it was bowel troubles that I was having. So I had to do more tests. I did this honestly for a couple of weeks, doing these different tests that were all coming back fine, and no one could figure out what was going on except for this fibroid. So me realizing that, you know what, I did my own research on Google. Which, by the way, if ever you're sick, though, so don't ever go on Google. I had myself convinced that I was dying, like horrible. So I had, at this point that all this was going on, the reason I was going to see so many different doctors is because I did not yet have my own family doctor. So I finally got one. I went to her and got her to get the test results from my ultrasound that I had gotten a while ago. So she ended up getting them and telling me that I had a fibroid. And I said, well, I need more information. What is a fibroid? Like, knowing the basics of it. Like, I knew it was a tumor that's in the uterus. But I had more questions for it. Like, I wanted to know what my chances of having kids were, how big this thing was, like, what was going on, what could we do to fix it, what was our action plan, basically. And I was informed that due to the location of where it was and how big it was and stuff, that it would affect me having kids, because it was along the top of my uterus or something, and it was like basically blocking off my fallopian tube, something along those lines. Anyway, I'm not a doctor. I just went through it, and so this was like, she just told me a bunch of stuff. Like, I was basically informed about what was going on with my body, how everything was going, and then her action plan was that she wanted to send me to a specialist. So she sent me to my gynecologist that I have now, and he ordered a vaginal ultrasound. So basically, you know, if you have a baby and stuff, you know, it's the ultrasound that goes up in your, you know, skadooch. And so they did that, and then they came back. When I got the results from that, I was told that I have, like, this is going now into about the end of October, beginning of November. I was told that I have not one but two fibroids. The first one was measuring. Oh, sorry. When I got the results back from my family doctor, I had one that was measuring 4 centimeters. After this one, like the internal ultrasound, they found two, apparently. One that was measuring 5, and one that was a pedunculated one, which is on the outside of the uterus, but attached, like outside of the uterus, but attached to the wall. And so apparently I had this pedunculated one that was measuring 4 centimeters in diameter. All right, so I went back to my gynecologist, and he decided that the only thing we could do right now was put me on birth control. And I was going to put on birth control so that I'd miss my periods for a little bit, just to see if that would help with pain. And then there was a few other things too that just need to be straightened out, that he figured that this could kind of help with, like just for a month or two. That's besides the point. So I was put on a hormonal birth control, the NuvaRing, and I came to learn that I can't be on a hormonal birth control because I have a history of having severe migraines, or as the doctors call it, migraines with auras. And apparently the reason that I can't be on it is because hormonal birth controls can cause strokes. And when you get the migraines I do, you get a lot of the same symptoms of having a stroke, because it's all neurological. So my speech is slurred, which I know it sounds like it is now because I got my tongue pierced, whatever. Anyway, so my speech gets really bad. I can't see properly. Everything just screws up for me, so I cannot be on a hormonal birth control. So basically the action plan was I needed to have surgery. So we went over a couple of different options, but surgery was the best one for me. I wanted them out. Didn't want to deal with this. I was in a lot of pain. When you have fibroids, they estrogen is like, I'll put this in my own terms now, or kind of. The doctor said that basically fibroids can feed off estrogen. Like when you're on your period, they swell and they get really sore. Your periods are heavier, they're more painful, they're just brutal fucking demons in your body. And so I didn't want to go through that. I just wanted to be rid of them. I decided surgery was the option. So surgery was scheduled for January 30th, of this year, 2013. And obviously I'm making this video. So I went for the surgery. I got it done. It was painful. I'm not going to lie. Although that being said, your pain tolerance might differ from mine. Maybe it'll hurt you less. Could hurt you more. I don't know. That's what painkillers are for. So I got the surgery. For the first couple of weeks, like seriously, the first 2 weeks after surgery, everything hurt. I was miserable, totally. I did nothing but lay in bed. I had no appetite because of the medications that I was on. It was just bad, a bad couple of weeks for me. Periods are, well, at that time, because to be totally honest, I started my period the morning of surgery. And so that period was kind of like non-existent / extremely light, probably because everything was just, confuckled. And the one following that was excruciating because it just had to make up for this period and the one prior to it that was like non-existent. So that was horrible. What else can I tell you? My post-op appointment with my doctor to get the results of everything, how everything went. He told me that when they went in, I ended up having a fibroid 1 instead of 2. So this pedunculated one they were talking about was apparently disappeared or whatever, or just merged in with this one. But I had 1 fibroid that was measuring 10 centimeters, like in diameter, and it was 3 that were like all growing together. And he said that when they took it out, it was discolored. It looked awkward because fibroids tend to be just one smooth round mass. Tend to be. That doesn't mean everyone's will be, but they tend to be. And it worried him, so they sent it to get a biopsy done. Thank be the Jesus. It was benign, but he said that it was deteriorating, so it was dying. And the reason for that was because it was growing at such a fast rate that it could not sustain itself. So basically it was starving. It just couldn't live. It wasn't getting enough blood to everything. And he said, so as you explained this to me, my doctor said that if this would happen to your heart, he said you would have a heart attack. So basically your fibroid was having a heart attack, and that's why you were in so much pain and everything. So wicked. I am now, hold on, I got things wrote down so I can tell you. Oh, the healing time because I had an abdominal myomectomy. I can't remember if I told you that or not. But I had an abdominal myomectomy. I didn't have the laparoscopy. I didn't have the vaginal myomectomy, the abdominal, which is basically I had a C-section, to be totally honest with you. They make the incision just where your pubic hair starts. So right there they made the incision, and then they just went right on through the abdomen and snatched that puppy out. But the healing time was 6 weeks, and I was in pain, for a good 3 of them. I went back to work at about the 5-week mark. That was a bad choice on my part because even though I felt okay, that extra week really could have helped me, and I'm pretty sure that I busted some internal stitches. I don't know. I'll have to talk to my doctor about that next time I see him. But right now, to this day, I am 5.5 months post-op, and I will show you my scar. But the healing process, I feel fine. My periods are normal. They're nowhere near as painful. Even the hormonal parts of it have changed, which just everything about them has changed for the better. I do have some numbness from, I guess, like where your pubic bone is, like almost like the top, bottom of your pubic bone to where in like where your labia starts. But just from there to the top, like where the incision is, I'm still numb. Like I can feel pressure, kind of, but I can't feel myself actually rubbing over top of it, if you follow what I'm saying at all. And it has been a crazy journey. It was very emotional. It was painful. Everything. Like, it was nuts. But anyway, I'm going to show you the actual C-section, or sorry, the myomectomy scar that I have. Show you. So that is it. It's healing right here is where I think I busted the stitches. But that is it. It's not pretty, I realize. But it's healing. It gets a little bit lighter as the months go on because it used to be totally bright purple. But everything is coming along great. Actually, at the end of this month, if I went, because I was told that I had to wait 6 months before ever trying to conceive. But I did get the clearance that I should be totally fine to conceive. That at the 6-month mark, if I wanted to, then I could start trying. Mind you, I'm not just yet. But anyways, I wanted to make this video because when I was going through this, I wanted someone that I could turn to. Someone that could relate to what I was going through. And I couldn't really find that. So I must find someone that was like my age, that didn't have kids but wanted them, that was struggling with with everything, all the risks that can happen throughout the procedure, because there are some. Like, I just barely skimmed the surface of everything that I went through. Please, if you have any questions, don't hesitate at all to write. I'm more than happy to answer any. And maybe, I hope this kind of help gave you a little bit of insight, because I know there are a lot of people that question what to do. And this has been mine. I don't regret it at all. I'm very happy with my option to have surgery. I did not require a hysterectomy in any form, not a full, not obviously, or a partial, nothing. I still have a uterus and ovaries that are fully intact and apparently ready to conceive soon. But again, feel free. I'm 24 years old, in case you were wondering. I don't have kids. I do want kids. Just telling you that because, again, this is what I was looking for. I wanted someone that I could relate to, and I found it really difficult to do so, and I actually didn't find anyone that I could relate to on this level. So, again, if you have any questions or if there's something that I missed, because I am kind of doing this on the way, I wrote out, like, very brief jot notes about what needed to be said. And I know I'm forgetting stuff. So, again, feel free to write me, and I will get back to you. But I just wanted to share with you my experience on what I went through. And I guess that's it. And now you know. So, thank you for watching. And if you're looking at this, I just want to apologize because I'm sure that you are going through it or know someone that's going through it. It sucks, but it will be worth it in the end. So, thank you.